Uh, Good day, friends. Uh, Today is another day, and today we'll be looking at the biggest beneficiaries of the Russian-Ukraine war, the countries that are benefiting the most. And before we start, please like, subscribe, and share, and also engage on the comments so that we can engage each other. Going straight away, Uh, one of the biggest beneficiaries in the Russia-Ukraine war uh, is Qatar. You know, before the Russian-Ukraine war, Europe depended solely on gas and oil from Europe, and after the war started, Europe decided to, start reducing its dependence on Russian gas and oil to Europe very drastically. So Qatar saw this as an opportunity, and also, European ministers, government officials going around the world looking for alternative sources of Russian gas and oil, especially the German. The German minister was in Qatar. Qatar now finds itself in a very good position because Qatar is one of the largest has one of the largest reserve in gas. And Qatar is a very interesting country because but when it discovered gas in the 1970s, it never had, the gas market was not booming, and the gas market wasn't that good. You can know that during that era, the oil market was the one that was booming, was doing well. So Qatar really found itself in a very peculiar situation, especially when it really realized its um, crude oil. The crude oil that it was mining was not sufficient to grow it economically, but it had very large gas reserves. Um, and so, uh, if you look at Qatar, it's one of the second largest exporter of gas, third largest exporter of LNG. And by that time, the 1970, when it didn't have the market for the gas, it really needed, it decided to invest in the whole infrastructure system from research and development, mining of the gas, and to the production, to the to the liquidification of the gas, to buying oil tankers for transport. It really poured a lot of investment into this infrastructure. And as we speak today, Qatar is the only country in the world that has the lowest cost when for extraction of gas, because of its almost 40 years of research and development in gas exploration. So Qatar is in terms of technology, when it comes to gas exploration, Qatar is up there. So Qatar made its first export in 1997. It was to Japan, its first liquefied gas. And from there, now Qatar started, becoming a key player in gas supply in the international market. And it's very interesting that during that time, Qatar approached to Germany. It wanted to sell its gas to Germany, but at the time, that Germany was heavily reliant on Russian gas and oil. And the German government told the Qatari that they already have a supplier who is selling cheaper, and the gas is coming in large quantity, because the gas from Russia to Germany was being transported by pipe. And we all know that Qatar didn't have that system of pipe. Qatar, its main system of transportation is liquefied natural gas. So Qatar went to other players. It focused more on on supplying oil to Asian countries and African countries. And now we find ourselves in 2022, where the war has broke out, and now Europe again has now come to see that it needs Qatar gas. And Qatar still had existing contracts, and it needed to fulfill, but it's willing to negotiate with Europe to supply gas as long as they agree on long-term contracts. And I think they have come to that agreement, and half of the gas that will be produced, because Qatar sells around 125 billion, cubic meters of gas per year, and its reserve is estimated to be 25 trillion cubic meters of reserve. So Qatar, of the half, will be going to Europe in the near future. Europe will be the new market. Qatar has even changed and upgraded its systems. It's investing around $30 billion to improve its efficiency, to buy new tankers, more liquidify facilities, so that it can meet the demands of its customer. As we speak, it's estimated that this year alone, Qatar will make $100 billion from gas sales, which is very good money. We all know Qatar is one of the richest, if not the richest country in the world. GDP per capita is $1.3 million, uh, which is the highest. Its sovereign fund is $450 billion. If you compare with a country like Norway, which GDP per capita is $200,000, but the Norway sovereign fund is a bit more, because I think it's either $1 trillion to $2 trillion around there. But you look at Qatar, GDP per capita is $1.3 million, one of the highest. So it means almost all the citizens, if the money was divided, each citizen in Qatar will at least have $1.3 million. So Qatar has emerged a very, very, very big player. And we are talking at the backdrop of being shunned away by the other Gulf state, like the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. They all shunned Qatar, and the blockade that was there. Qatar was really struggling, and when things were coming to look good, COVID came. Qatar, we must remember, is also a big tourist attraction. So the demand for the market for the tourists was not there anymore. No one was traveling. Their planes were grounded. So it really came at the oil, this gas boom came at a very good time, when they are now just recovering. And it seems that even through that hardship, things are looking good. And you must know that Qatar was always, it was a very diplomatic country, and through now the sale of gas, it's now start, and the flow of more money, it will start to emerge as a big diplomatic destination for negotiations. We must remember that these so-called terrorist groups, if they want to negotiate with the American government, if they want to negotiate with the European Union, Qatar is usually, especially in the Middle East, this terrorist group around the Middle East, which are classified as terrorist organization or militias, or rogue countries like Iran, which are classified under EU and American government, officials. Uh, their their preferred location of negotiation is Qatar, because Qatar is always seen as a neutral arbitrator. You can remember the Taliban, the Hamas, the Muslim Brotherhood, the negotiation also of Iran and America. So through this sale again, this gas boom, Qatar is also, going to emerge victorious in terms of now having the diplomatic power, because now it's relating even better with Europe. Even as we go forward, Europe and Qatar relationship will just continue to blossom and work. When the minister of Germany came to Qatar, they signed a deal of opening an industrial cities in Qatar of Volkswagen, you know uh, and other companies. And if you look at how the Qatar, you know, the blessing in disguise has come. It's very interesting, and for a country that's less than 5,000 square kilometers in terms of area, it's a small country, but a lot of wealth is going to pour in, and I'm sure it's going to use that to influence and also position itself. We must also remember that Qatar holds the largest American military base in the Middle East, and uh, by this year, Qatar's they joined NATO as a not as a permanent member, as like an observer, where Israel has the same position, Australia. So Qatar is now positioning itself, even though it's a small country, to be a geopolitical player, and and to move around in this sea of international politics and law. So it's eager to see how it will go. Another country that also has benefited from this oil boom is Saudi Arabia. We must remember that the price of crude oil had gone down, very, very down, especially during the time of COVID. A barrel had come even to $0. So when the war broke out, Saudi Arabia really took the advantage, and and especially when the war broke out, a barrel shot up to $140 per barrel. That was two-third increase of value more than a year ago. So Saudi Arabia really has benefited from this conflict in terms of oil sale. Uh, uh, the market not having Russian oil around, enough Russian oil around because of sanctions and everything, has made the existing market to, and Saudi Arabia is not willing to increase more oil on the market. So it's willing to just maintain that and continue, creating a deficit, a supply and demand deficit, so that it can make more money, because uh, Saudi Arabia in the first quarter of this year became the most profitable company in the world. The Saudi Arabia oil company, Saudi Aramco company, the most profitable than Apple. Saudi Arabia also has the lowest price cost when it comes to extraction of oil. Like Qatar, how they really invested in R&D in gas exploration and mining and the whole chain. Saudi Arabia has done the same. Saudi Arabia in petrochemicals, in the petrochemical industry, technology, and technology of exploration, mining. Saudi Arabia is really at the forefront. They understand the oil business, the oil engineering, and per production cost, Saudi Arabia is the lowest when it comes to production cost of the oil. So I'm sure it's maximizing its profit to the fullest. We must remember that Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman has a project called Neon City, which needs a lot of money to fund. Yeah, he's trying to move Saudi Arabia from an oil country into a more tourist, technological based country, not to depend so much on oil. And we can remember, since the killing of Jamal Khashoggi in the Turkish in the on Turkish soil in the Saudi Arabian consulate, most American companies pulled out from the project. So he has been looking for funds, probably from the other side, the Chinese, the Russians, and this couldn't come. This oil boom couldn't come at a great time, because now he has money to fund the project. Because a lot of people pulled Uber, Amazon, after no one wanted to associate himself with him. We must also remember that Mohammed bin Salman was a pariah before the war began, and he has come out the winner, because now everyone is looking for him. You saw even before President-elect Joe Biden came into power, he had argued that he's going to isolate Mohammed bin Salman. He had insinuated that, and he had insinuated he's going to call out Mohammed bin Salman on the death of Khashoggi, and they're not going to take it lying down. And also they were going to withdrew their support on Mohammed bin Salman on the war in Yemen, which has been blamed for. The Yemen crisis was the biggest crisis before the Ukraine war. It was estimated it had the largest population which was hungry, malnutrition was low, and food. There was no food, there was no medicine. So Mohammed bin Salman has been really at the forefront of as a pariah, someone who's not accepted in the international order. He's seemed People see him as young, arrogant, irrational. He doesn't think much before making a decision. But now he has emerged as the winner, because so even uh, the President Biden swallowing humble pie because of the Ukraine crisis, rising fuel even in his country, raising living standards. So he had to fly to Saudi Arabia and try to convince them. So he had to swallow his humble pie, even though he wasn't welcome like Trump with a big reception. Even you could tell through their body language that these people are not feeling each other. They were just doing this because of necessity. So I'd say Mohammed bin Salman and Saudi Arabia have really come on top of this Ukraine and Russia conflict. Another country I'd like to look also is a country like Venezuela. Venezuela is also a pariah, but because Venezuela owns one of the largest oil reserve, it has also been, it has also had some relief. The U.S. government has posed its brake on the Maduro regime because of oil. They were even considering to start oil to put Venezuelan oil on the market and start production. Even Maduro himself, uh, President Maduro, he released the Americans who he says were sent to assassinate him as a sign of goodwill. So also the Venezuelans have really, I would say not the Venezuelan President Maduro has really taken advantage of this. Also, a country like Iran, if you look at Iran now, because of of this war, the fact that there's an issue of oil supply. Iran is a big oil exporting country, but because of sanction, it has not gained the full potential of the market. It exports most of its oil to China, but it has taken full advantage of this war because now you see that it knows there's an issue in the oil market and things prices are going up. So it has taken advantage in negotiating, the Iranian deal, nuclear Iranian deal, and trying, to make it the deal so its way and favor them. And especially since also Russia is also a part of this nuclear deal, and Russia and Iran are allies. So you find that Russia is very involved in this deal. Russia also wants to, to untwist America a bit in the deal, and also benefit from this deal. So Iran is taking full advantage of this Russian-Ukraine conflict to try and see if it can get the best deal around when it comes uh, to to the um, to the nuclear deal. Uh, Going forward, I feel there are other players that would benefit from this. So, military companies, you know, food production companies. But I'll do another video. That video, I'll do another video extensively focusing on the industrial military complex and the food industry, how they're benefiting from the war. But now I'm focusing mostly on states that are benefiting directly from this war in terms of geopolitics, finance, and economics. And also another country that I shouldn't forget is Norway. No, Norway now is a is being depended by most. I think Norway, even before Qatar, Norway is the country that a lot of European countries are trying to depend on because it's around the eurozone, and it has gas, and which is needed at the immediate. And so Norway also is a country that would really benefit economically. And it's also geopolitical posture now. Norway can now engage with other countries. I'm not saying it wasn't engaging, but now it has become a key player in the European political game. So uh, this Ukraine war has mostly benefited energy and food exporting countries. If you look at it, especially energy countries, because most of these energy countries, the energy assets, the gas and oil are on the ground, so it's hard for the assets to deplete. If food countries are farming and selling food, there's that consistency of always farming to sell, and which is sometimes not stable. But the fact that energy producing country, the resources are on the ground, they've been measured. Like a country like Qatar has 25 trillion cubic meters. Every day it sells 100, every it sells 100 of 100 billion cubic meters. So the estimated wealth is there and it's feasible. So it's easy to, for the production line not or chain not to be interfered with, like the food production chain. Uh, so when you look at the political game, how it's going, I think we are now entering in a phase where uh, we won't only have one center of power. We'll have so many centers of power, and I think it's time that the old guys start realizing. The old guys, I mean, the Western world, the Russia, uh, start realizing that you know we are going to a more a world where we should accept coexistence and accept different opinions of other countries, because a lot of countries now are rising. India is also on the rise. There's China, and we have Japan, South Korea. If you look at all these countries, they are also all competing for global hegemony. So we are entering in the world where uh, we need to seek harmony more than anything, and try and prevent war and catastrophe. I'll continue doing these videos, and also explaining how things are going on in these countries, the political game, the structure. I feel like right now, the world political structure is very very fragile, and you cannot afford to enter into another conflict, because we've come just from a very bad, 2 years of COVID, the Ukraine war. We can't afford even to go to another confrontation between China and Taiwan, where probably America will be involved, Japan and South Korea. Uh, we'll just see how it goes, and um, I'll keep doing more. Thank you, guys. Hope to see you next time. Please share, subscribe, and like. Thank you.